This is Environmental Problems in Bhutan by Nihar Kongara and Nicholas Evenden. Bhutan is a small country located between the two most populous and carbon-emitting countries in the world, China and India. Located in the Himalayas, Bhutan is extremely beautiful and nearly untouched by modern development. The people in Bhutan are reported to be one of the most happiest in the world, and their country is the least corrupt country in South Asia. Their population is under a million people. Bhutan's economy is driven by agriculture. Approximately 80% of their population is involved in agriculture, while 95% of their working women work in the agricultural sector. A lot of Bhutan's environmental problems originate from their poor technique of agriculture. Bhutan uses a technique called tertiary agriculture, also known as slash and burn agriculture. Slash and burn agriculture is when the individuals cut trees and burn the grass to clear space to plant their main crops, which are maize and rice. As people cut down trees and burn grass, they release lots of stored carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. This contributes to global warming. Especially in a country like Bhutan, where agriculture is part of their culture, they should find a much more efficient technique to find space to plant their crops. The two main sources of energy for Bhutan are hydropower and firewood. Located amid the Himalayas, Bhutan is in an excellent location to harness hydropower. With strong currents and melting ice caps passing through Bhutan, they have the potential to produce enough renewable energy for themselves as well as neighboring countries. Unfortunately, in a lot of houses, individuals still use firewood to cook. This causes local pollution. The reason for this is because many in Bhutan do not have access to the electricity produced by hydroelectric dams, and they don't have the technology to use it. However, Bhutan's government is working towards making hydropower accessible to the entire country.
Bhutan is slowly moving away from using firewood and striving to use hydropower as its main source of energy. There are advantages and disadvantages of switching their main source of energy to hydropower. Some of the advantages are that it is a renewable source of energy, as the river and water cycle can constantly produce enough water to provide energy. It does not produce any carbon emissions aside from building the dams. Specifically in Bhutan, where the run of rivers current is consistently strong, dams did not have to be built. Rather, diverting a small portion of the river flow to the system is enough to produce the energy needed for Bhutan. Of all the other renewable sources, statistics show that hydropower holds the largest share of worldwide electricity production. Hydropower is also relatively cheap to maintain compared to the other renewable sources of energy. On the other hand, building the dams for hydropower to work harms local wildlife. There is an increased amount of water sediment and pollution near the dam. It blocks fish passage through the rivers and streams. They also force the population near the dam to relocate. In Bhutan, fishing is a part of the culture of those who live near the rivers, so forcing them to relocate is something to reconsider. Also, the upfront cost of building the dam is very expensive. Because of the price, Bhutan struggles to find the funds to construct enough dams to produce enough water. As stated before, Bhutan's population rests at under 1 million individuals. Bhutan has more than enough power generated from its hydropower dams to provide for their country. However, they produce lots of additional power that they do not necessarily need. So the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, agreed with Bhutan to buy the additional power that Bhutan does not use at a cheaper price. Through this agreement, Bhutan can strengthen their economic links with India while receiving the money to continue to develop their country. Also, India purchases renewable energy in efforts to reduce their carbon emissions. This all sounds good, but there are some drawbacks to this agreement drawn up by India. In Bhutan, the two hydropower dams that produce the most energy produce 2,940 megawatts of the total 10,000 megawatts generated for this agreement. Unfortunately, the construction of both these dams has been delayed and not given priority by India. Because of this, the price to construct the dams itself has increased a lot. As the cost continues to rise and India postpones a project, it makes less and less economical sense. Although Bhutan can benefit from the money India is offering, environmentally it is more important that India gives this a priority. India has been struggling to find and pay for renewable sources of energy. This agreement with Bhutan can prove to be an excellent segue for India to slowly transition to renewable energy, reducing their carbon emissions. Additionally, the building of the dams is known to produce lots of dust pollution from construction, disturbance to wildlife, and loss of forest lands. Bhutan is the only carbon negative country in the world, and if this construction and deforestation continue, they will not be a carbon negative country anymore.